Cipparone, and I'm the manager of professional boxer Tevin, the American Idol farmer. My entrance into the boxing arena is quite different than the norm. I was introduced to Tevin by his brother Mel, who ironically has been an employee and a friend of mine for just about my entire professional career. I actually mentored his brother Mel for a great part of his life, and now he happens to be my head painter in one of my collision centers.
My name is Jamal Gantz. I'm the head painter here at Rocco's Collision on Reed Street. I want to start by saying that without Rocco's Collision, I really don't know where I would be in my life. This place means so much to me, more than you can imagine. It brought me so far in life and made me into the person who I am today. It taught me so much. It taught me how to be a man. It taught me morals, values, principles, hard work, dedication, and so much more. I can go on and on.
So one day, Jolly, which is Mel's dad's name, he decides to take Mel to work, and when I met Mel, he was just such a happy, enthusiastic kid. He was, full of life and excitement. And I don't know, he had to be no more than 10 years old. And every Saturday for the next couple weeks, Mel came back to the shop, and it developed into every Saturday to 3 times a week. He would go home after school and run right to the shop. He might have been 12 years old, 13 years old. And it's just a great story, because today, almost 30 years later, Mel's still here, and he's the head painter of the Reed Street store. But so many things along the way have happened. He's been around me just about every day of my life. Mel came up to me a few years ago and said, my brother Tevin had decided to become a professional boxer, and maybe you can help him out. And at that time in my life, I was kind of overwhelmed and into many different ventures, and it just wasn't the right timing. About 8 months ago, I got another call from Tevin and Mel, and I just had some time. So I sat and talked to Tevin, and by the end of that meeting, I just fell in love with the person that Tevin is, and I had no clue of whether he was a valid boxer or not. I didn't know much other than I knew I was interested in Tevin, and my only purpose at that point was to see if I can help this wonderful person that I just met reach his goal in life, which we're on the journey now for. And days became weeks and weeks became months, and I spent a great deal of my time absorbing myself in the boxing industry. Sure enough, what began as just wanting to help another individual who I really had a lot of, background with, being that I spent so much time with his family before. It was a great surprise to find out that Tevin not only was the great individual that I thought he was, but that he had this super talent and natural athletic ability, and his goals now have become my goals. I guess many people want to know, what am I doing in the boxing business? What right do I have to be here? So I guess I have to rewind and talk some more about, where I came from and what qualifies me. So growing up in South Philly, you get to experience a lot of different sides of life. Now we're getting into closer to my neighborhood, and we're at 24th Street. That's a 25th Street bridge, and this was a route that we would take, and it separated neighborhoods, separated cultures, separated races, and it definitely changed from what it was 45, 50 years ago. This is the corner store. It was called Specca's. I don't even know what it's called now. It was called Tony and Dolly's before that. But this is 28th and McKean. It was a huge hangout. Everybody from the neighborhood would hang around this whole corner here. That's my house right there. That's the house I grew up in till I was 16 years old. And I used to play basketball every day, and there should be a court there because I heard that there still was a court there right across the street. There it is. So my father and his brother, they started Rocco's Collision back in 1957, and as odd as it may seem, they had an Esso station, which later became Exxon, but they had an Esso station with a mechanic shop, 13 tow trucks, and a collision shop right in the same facility. And it was probably at the top level of when they were in business together. And right now, what you're looking at over here is what that has become. And I have, fond memories as a kid growing up and just having a different experience than most, coming here after school every day, meeting different people, and having to speak to people at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old because they would come into the shop or the workers. It certainly helped boost my confidence later on. And when you're introduced to an environment, I don't care what it is, and you're almost forced in an environment to be around certain things, you develop, whether you consciously develop or subconsciously. It's a development that happens, and I think it's a good thing, really. And across the street's the school district, and we're still today actually doing repairs for the school district. So it's pretty incredible, some things that just last and last. And this neighborhood, it was a tough neighborhood too. And when you are brought out of your pocket, you're in a different neighborhood, a different place. I'm gonna drive in, I don't know what's gonna happen. This is where the nuns used to live. It was a Catholic school. The Franciscan nuns, they lived in this side. The gym was down here. And I spent a lot of time in the gym. I love sports. Was one of the better ball players in the school. I'm not saying that to brag. I was a team leader. I won the most valuable player award in my class. They had a traveling team, basketball. We had King of Peace traveling team, 7th and 8th grade, and I was fortunate enough to make that team, be one of the only people ever. I was in 5th grade, and I made the 7th and 8th grade traveling basketball team, which was, for me, the most important thing in my life. I played basketball every day of my life until 8th grade, until I graduated. It gave me confidence, it gave me power, it's something that I cherish. It taught me how to be a team player, it taught me how to be a team captain, a team leader, it taught me responsibility. Sports for me were definitely a great foundation to my business life too. My skill set comes from my business background, because the journey to get to where I'm at today, it definitely didn't come without experience. I have a pretty well-rounded business background. I now own and operate 5 of the largest collision centers in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So along the way, I've got to learn what mistakes not to make anymore. And it seems like that foundation has allowed me to do some things really well. I might not be the ultimate expert today in boxing, but what I am an expert in is developing a team and and bringing greatness together and understanding, what that, how to get that and how to find that and how to navigate through that. The plus side is that I have been able to surround myself in boxing very quickly with some of the smartest people out there to take advice and to act on it is something that I do well. Being someone's business manager and just manager in general is a responsibility that no one should take lightly. And so every step along the way, I understand can be critical in this gentleman's career. So I move wisely and with great precision. How do I do that? I surround myself with a great team and comprehend all that's necessary to make the difficult decisions that can definitely be a factor in changing the destiny of Tevin's career. I have in excess of 30 years in the collision business, and I guess the last 12 years of my business life have been something of a phenomena. The people and the opportunities that have presented themselves to me just have lifted me to a level that allows me to navigate through the boxing industry as well. Right now, I'm 8 months in. I must have spent 15, 14, 16-hour days consistently understanding it, and I'm further along the way than many people that have been in here for years. But I can say with strong words that next year, this time, I probably will be much further along than anticipated. And every day I get stronger and smarter for Tevin. This is something that I never thought that I would want to do.
How you doing? This is Coach Chino, of course, with my partner Mark from Mr. Rocco's, Anthony Nathaniel. Anthony's 4-0. Nathaniel is doing his debut. This is part of the team that we are working with Tevin. They helped him get ready for this event today. We're fighting Victor Vasquez. Today's going to be a beautiful day because today is a day for Tevin to separate himself from what at one time people thought that he was going to be an opponent. Today they're going to realize that he's actually a fighter with potential to do many great things, along with Mark supporting him and backing him up in all aspects of life, financially, morally, as a father figure in his life. We're going to grow from here. We're going to do great things together. And I'm just excited for today because today he's going to look a lot better. It's only my first fight. I only had 2 weeks with him, but by the next fight, it's going to be better. But a year from this point on, he'll be ready to fight for world title. That I can promise you.
In the last 3 weeks, our team has made a great addition with Chino coming on board as the head coach, and the difference in Tevin is just amazing. Tonight is going to be a special night. He gets to put together all the tools that he brought to the table before Tevin and all the new technology that Chino brought to the team. I know tonight is going to change the game for Tevin Farmer, because when he walks out of this fight, the world's going to see who he really is, and it's the beginning of great things happening for him, and I'm so proud to be a part of it myself.
If you came to me a year ago and says that you're going to be in the boxing field and specifically you're going to be a professional boxer's manager, I would have said you're crazy. But today, 8 months in, this is something that I'm sure that I enjoy, and it can be quite profitable, and I know I can make a difference in many boxers' lives, and certainly I want to do that and move forward and look into other people's interests so that I can help someone else along in their career as well. You never know where your next step in life is going to come from, and similarly, just as Mel had brought me to his brother Tevin, I did a photo shoot about a little more than a year ago, and the situation was for a magazine, and it didn't really turn out the way that it was supposed to. But long short of it all is that I made a great relationship with the photographer. His name's Devin Wade Robinson. And Devin Wade did a photo shoot, just around the corner with the world champ, Danny Garcia. And Devin proceeded to tell Danny's people that there's this guy, Mark, he owns Rocco's Collision, and he's into boxing, and maybe you guys should meet up. And we're all networkers at heart, and sure enough, Devin did his networking job and introduced us. And to have the world champ as, I guess, Rocco sponsoring the world champ, and for me just to break into the boxing industry at the same moment, the dynamic that created was a phenomena for my company. First of all, the whole company is kind of got a new life because we built this boxing ring that I'm sitting in based on the relationship with Tevin, and now Tevin has his own private gym. And just to be so fortunate to have the world champ, living in Philadelphia, and now that Rocco's Collision sponsors Danny Garcia, it just couldn't be a better segue into boxing. With me at this point, it's really not about money. It's much more than money. It's about helping Tevin reach his goals in life and get to his dream, which is to be world champ. The relationship that we had made with Danny Garcia, for example, that is something that I treasure. But more importantly, we had the opportunity to spar Danny as his partner for his Zab Judah fight, and we sparred him many times. And that experience for Tevin was more valuable than I think the experience he had his entire career, because when he walked out of that gym every day, he can say that I was in the gym sparring with the world champ, and that's pretty amazing. So I build a relationship with my fighter, Tevin, and we get to bond, which is great. But what comes next? My job as manager, there's definitely decisions that I have to make or to guide Tevin through that might not be the obvious and may not be the easiest decisions in the world to make. But like I said before, I take this job with the responsibility level that is magnificent, and not making a hard decision would not be appropriate. So all credit to Tevin and everything that his life has brought him to. We're here in this together, and we're just going to carve a path out that is going to allow Tevin to take the right steps one at a time to get to his goal. I'm not saying that I need a thank you or a pat on the back, but what I can say is everything that I've ever done to help Tevin Farmer has come back to me more than words could say. He has thanked me, he has been humble, he's been appreciative, and his level of improvement alone is enough thanks to me that he's capitalized on all these resources. But the person that he is and his ability to let me know that I'm appreciated, it just speaks volumes about who Tevin Farmer is. But make no mistake that as heartfelt as that last statement was that I made about Tevin, he is certainly a force to be reckoned with in the ring. And he's a monster, and he just turns from that gentle, kind human being to this monster in the ring at fight night. And that transformation is astonishing to me, of how quickly he can go to killer instinct. And that in the back, when I'm in the back and we're getting ready to walk out, that level of transformation and excitement, it's something that I can't get enough of. And so every fight we walk out, that guy is a changed man for the 30 minutes or less, hopefully, that he's in the ring. And when this team is in the back room moments before we walk out to the ring, it consists of some greatness. We have my son, Mark Cipparone. who's always there, ready to go. Bruce Farmer, he's a video monster. But when he's back in that room, he's drumming up excitement like no other. Charlie Cannon, Mel Gans, and some others. But when we come out, we are so fired up. And I know that when Tevin walks in the ring, he's 10 times stronger, because some dynamic happens with these guys that I am so glad I'm a part of. When I get to see Tevin working out with his strength and conditioning trainer, Mike Stalbot, I can't believe the progress that he's made from day one. From never lifting a weight in his life, and I guess he was eating not the right foods, to now being a powerhouse and nutritionalizing himself properly. Hats off to both those gentlemen for getting the job done. So now we're in camp, and Rasheem is sleeping over every night, and make no mistake, as funny and as lighthearted as Rasheem is, he's got the know-how and the persistence and the accuracy to keep Tevin on the straight and narrow. When I mean straight and narrow, it's straight and narrow because the work they're putting in together is definitely a game changer, and Rasheem has gotten it done. My job as manager, it could be just a financial investment, but I couldn't do it without paying attention to the future of my fighter. And I take it to heart, and I take it like it's my own career and my own life. And if something is there that I can help, I'm not just gonna back off and be a money guy. It's not in my DNA, and I know it doesn't work. What this team always needs, and what every team needs, is people who care and are qualified to react and act on every circumstance. If you want to be world champ, if you want to be top at anything, you better be ready to make great decisions, and often make great decisions.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, baby.
I want to thank my team, you know, everybody. My Manager Mark Cipparone, strictly disconcerting.
Yeah!
He came down next to me and did it. As a couch sit, I was smiling down right here the whole time. He wasn't doing nothing. He's a great fighter. I didn't take that away from him. But I knew he'd be tired out in the 8th round, so I came out storming on him. I hit him with a line shot. I heard him go, and I went after him from there. But once he got killed, he's a great warrior, man. Keep it up, man.